So the process of going from a consumer of knowledge to a producer of knowledge is incredibly difficult. I think because in the first 2 years of the program, you get to take a ton of great classes from top-notch faculty, but you also are being exposed to really like the best of the best papers, and yet in our classes we spend a lot of time critiquing why this particular method perhaps has certain limitations, or why this particular question could be answered in a different way. And so you kind of come out of these 2 years having this very high bar for what research should be, and suddenly you're like, I have to now produce knowledge and have the confidence in my ideas and also be able to defend it against all these different ways in which a paper could be critiqued or considered to be limited.
A pretty big commitment that we have at MIT and here in the TIES program is that there's no monopoly on wisdom and there's no monopoly on insight. That in fact, the best science, the best way we're going to understand new things is by unleashing incredibly smart, hardworking people on really tough problems that are really important and giving them the tools and the support that they need to actually tackle those problems in a meaningful amount of time, develop research out of it that's publishable and sharp, and allows them to ultimately build an independent research agenda around that.
Here, it's kind of like the world is your oyster. You could theoretically have anybody on your PhD committee from the ecosystem. Doesn't even have to be TIES, doesn't have to be Sloan. It could even be other faculty that are local or even elsewhere. So in that respect, it's really exciting. It's sometimes a bit nerve-wracking for a student to kind of feel like you're at the point where you're confident enough to go pitch yourself, but I think faculty here are really good about helping to push students and help them navigate that process.
In my second year paperwork, I was working on this review of the federal government grant-making agency, and in the period of the first 18 months of my time here at MIT, I met with Pierre probably on a bi-weekly basis, and Scott on the other probably on the other week in between to figure out to like measure our progress, talk about what's next, think about how to turn that work into more meaningful publications down the road. And through that process, I've narrowed in on a certain kind of two or three focus areas where I think, I don't know yet, but I think my dissertation will probably come out of one of those areas, but to be determined. But that summertime spent with Scott has been incredible.
Our doctoral program, and any doctoral program, isn't for everyone. It really is a commitment to undertaking a very independent activity. The Nobel Prize winner Ken Arrow remarked that if you think you have a model for novelty, you haven't thought about the word novelty or model hard enough. And that's what we're trying to do in the TIES program, is we're trying to understand and give frameworks and give evidence about how people create new ideas, how people build new companies, and how people create new organizations. And that process is among the most challenging, I believe, in the social sciences. But exactly because it's a hard but important problem, it makes it worthwhile for those that are willing to undertake that path.
When I came to TIES, I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to study issues related to the energy industry because there's not a lot of management literature that deals with it. But I have been encouraged on a routine basis to double down on the things that I know and apply that to the field in a way that will be productive, and it is understood that it will be productive. And so everyone has been very supportive.